we are now moving to actually applying our theories of profit maximization to the situation of monopoly. We're going to use a very simple example. We're going to use a straight line demand curve. Even if the demand curve isn't straight line, you can adapt this, but this makes things easier for us. So we know that profit maximization is where you get maximum profit. The difference for a monopolist is you are not a price taker, which means your marginal revenue is no longer the same thing as price. So what is the marginal revenue for you? So let's look at a straight line demand curve, and we're going to go back to the concept of elasticity. Elasticity, to remind you, was equal to percentage change in quantity divided by percentage change in price. So here is a very simple concept. If I've got a straight line demand curve, I start here. Price is high, quantity supplied is 0. That means my revenue is 0. As I move down this curve, I'll eventually end up here. Doesn't matter what quantity is. If price is 0, my revenue is also 0. Revenue is price times quantity. So if price is high and quantity is 0, 0 revenue. If price is 0 and quantity is high, revenue is also 0. So what I'm seeing is that when I come down this demand curve, initially as price drops but quantity increases, my revenue goes up. Keeps going up, keeps going up, keeps going up. But eventually it falls. Why? Because of elasticity. When price changes, quantity also changes. As long as percentage change in quantity is higher than percentage change in P, which means as long as elasticity greater than 1, quantity increase outweighs price decrease, my revenue will go up. But if elasticity is less than 1, it means, okay, price went down, quantity went up, but the extent of price decrease outweighs quantity increase. My revenue is going down. So when elasticity is greater than 1, then marginal revenue is positive. If price increases outweigh quantity decreases, revenue will go up, which means marginal revenue is greater than 0. On the other hand, if elasticity is less than 1, that means price decrease is too much compared to quantity increase. Price is falling very fast, quantity is not increasing enough. I'm not really getting a whole bunch of revenue increase. In fact, my revenue is dropping marginal revenue is less than 0. So this intuition tells me something about this straight line demand curve. Initially, when elasticity is greater than 1, my marginal revenue is positive, my total revenue is increasing. When elasticity equals 1, little bit of increase will not give me any increase in revenue. Elasticity equal to 1, I will not get any increase in revenue, marginal revenue equal to 0. Elasticity less than 1, my price will drop, quantity will increase, but the net effect is the price drop is very high compared to the quantity increase, and I will not get more revenue. Marginal revenue is negative. So this is called the midpoint theorem, where at the middle point of a straight line demand curve, elasticity is greater than 1, elasticity is 1, and elasticity is less than 1. Marginal revenue, consequently, will be right there through the midpoint over here. This is why it's called the midpoint theorem. This is your demand curve, which is the same thing as your average revenue curve. This is your marginal revenue curve. Remember, this works because you are looking at a monopolist where the demand curve in question is for the entire market, and we are using this straight line demand curve with the midpoint theorem to say, here is your average revenue and price, and here, given that situation, is your marginal revenue, which means when in monopoly we are going to profit maximize, which is the next video, you're going to put your cost curves and you're going to put them in relation to this marginal revenue. This is no longer a situation where you are a price-taking firm where your price level is given. Instead, your demand curve is the entire market. This is your demand curve. This, therefore, is your marginal revenue curve. And you're going to equate that marginal revenue to MC in your next video to find out where to maximize profit.